Hey everybody, what's up? Stinger here again, and welcome to episode number 6 of my Devlog series on my Unnamed colony game. Now, the first thing that you will see is that the terrain now has a higher resolution texture. These are not final by any means, but at least they are not driving me crazy anymore like the low resolution Minecraft texture pack textures did. This is certainly looking a lot better than before. The next big change that I've made over the last 2 weeks actually was adding in models. So you can see we have a small house here, we have this bakery here, and we have this tree. The windmill at the moment doesn't have a model yet, I still have to add that. But this is what I've done over the past 2 weeks. In terms of gameplay, nothing really happened because I've literally been working on implementing the models here over the entire 2 weeks. The thing is, this is actually quite a lot more work than it sounds like, because it's not just importing different models, changing a reference to a model, and that's it. In fact, I had to rewrite quite a few things. Actually, I had to actually rewrite 3 different systems to work with the new models, specifically placing buildings, the actual like putting a building into the world, right? Then the structure preview, which is the thing that's following you around, and the actual selection of buildings. All of those were tailored to work with a single object, but now they had to work with multiple objects because, in fact, all of these buildings are now composed of multiple objects. So with this house, for example, is composed of 2 objects, the walls and the roof, and the bakery is actually composed of 6 different objects, the lower floor, the upper floor, 3 roofs, and the chimney, right? So every building is now composed of multiple objects, and none of the systems I had in place worked with that, so I had to rewrite all of them to actually work with that. Which now they do, and it's all working, and it really makes everything come together quite a lot more, right? You can really imagine the game quite a lot better now that we have actual models in here rather than just colored cubes, or cuboids, whatever. Anyway, there are still a few issues with this. One specific issue is that, say I click on this button here, and now I click on this button here, you can see the structure preview will show me both things, even though I'm only having the tree selected in this case. This is a minor issue, this shouldn't be too big of a deal to fix. Another thing is not really a bug, it's more like an unfinished thing, is that if I place a building on the side of a hill, then of course you can look below it, and of course it doesn't have any floor like at the bottom, because why would it? Now this would actually need like an actual base. The thing is, for one thing that you'll notice is not only is it half floating in the air, it's also half buried in the ground here. So the first thing that I need to do, and that's actually the next thing on my list, is adjusting the height map. Whenever you're placing a building, it will actually flatten out the height map around the building so that the building is standing on flat ground. However, what I want to do, and this will be somewhat complicated I guess, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal either, is that I don't want the entire area around the building to be flattened out, but to be the area that's flattened to be slightly smaller than the building, like here, around here, so that the terrain can actually vary a bit. So you can have like the terrain go up to like here to just below the window, or in fact here go down and then expose some of the foundation, right? This would mean that, for one, I would have to implement that, which would be quite a bit more complicated logic than simply flattening out terrain, and I will need to have some sort of basement or foundation, I guess. The easiest option for this would obviously be to just have the model extend downwards like the cubes did before, right? They extended downwards not as much as they extended above ground, so when you placed them on the side of a hill, you didn't really see anything because they just extended downwards. And that's one option that I could do, right? Just adding a bunch of stuff to the model below. But the problem is that later, when it comes to like actual resource management and buildings actually costing resources, this wouldn't make it quite difficult to actually determine the resources, because the more foundation you have to build, the more expensive the building should be. So what I'll probably do is develop some sort of procedural basement or foundation generator, whatever, that will take a look at how high the building is above the ground and then define the foundation. And in doing so also define the price, which will then fluctuate a little bit depending on that. So yeah, those are the next two big things that are on my list. The next two things that will be in the next episode of the Devlog series, which will not come out next week because I will be very busy next week. It will come out in 2 weeks, so yeah, stay tuned. I guess on Friday next week I will upload the time-lapse of me making the windmill model, right? So that's a bit of a substitute for the actual Devlog episode. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the episode. If you did, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, of course. And see you next time. Goodbye.